See this episode's show notes for our unique promo code to get up to 2 months of free podcasting service with Libsyn when you sign up for a new account. Get your show on Apple and Spotify, get helpful stats, and all the support you need to sound your very best.
Hi, I'm Erica Schultz, and you're listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast.
Yes, welcome back, loony listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 353, and the High Priests have returned. Rebecca,
together.
Hello. Yes,
Hello.
Together.
Getting the gang back together.
Oh, it's been a while, and
Yeah.
I feel good. I feel revitalized. Rebecca, I feel resurrected. I feel like...
I mean, how
has...
fitting. Like, this seems like, this is what we have you for. Yes,
I feel rejuvenated. Thank you, listeners. A fantastic episode by Rebecca 352. Previously, go check it out if you haven't as well. Rebecca was flying the copter solo, and Rebecca, geez, you did both issues 7 and 8 by yourself, which was amazing because there's so much in there.
And we're gonna find Reis' thoughts on them because they were a big deal issue. I mean, like, I may have said that there wasn't a huge amount of story in them, but they had some really big moments. And so, Ray, what did you think? What were your highlights of the 2 issues? Let's just do highlights because, I said, they're not massive on story. We know KHONSHU's been released. We know Mark's resurrected. So what else stood out for you?
Oh, issue 7 definitely was. We won't dwell on this, listeners, but it was the return of KHONSHU. That was just amazing. And I mean that in the artwork of Cappuccio's and Rochelle Rosenberg. It was just monumental. Like, they brought that kind of epicness to KHONSHU returning. I felt in both the splash pages and just the way he was drawn. It was so good. Also, again, no spoilers, of course. Rebecca, you spoke about it last episode, but the Wrecker I thought was very cool. I mean,
I liked him. Jed's quite at home with these small time villains, right?
Yeah, but
and we see more of that with I think phases. Well, that's not Jed.
Yes,
but we see more of that side with Jed. With
but it was great. I mean, but it made sense as well as Guardian Magic with the Wrecker and him having, I mean, of all things, a crowbar was to just pry it open.
Yeah,
it was so cool. And I guess it was just the art. I was just flummoxed by that. I mean, there were a lot of hero shots just towards the end there where the team are back together. It was really good. There are a couple of hero shots because I'm kind of mixing them up because issue 8 was good as well.
Yeah.
I spoke to you just before we started the show. I was really pleasantly surprised with the art again. I thought,
when we weren't sure when we were getting, you're never sure when you're getting a new artist, and we've had such a standard run of artists, so it's suddenly getting someone new in the mix. But I agree. I thought it was very good.
Yeah, and totally respect. I believe it was Mario who sent in some comments about how he much preferred Alessandro's, and of course, they are different, but I felt issue 8 was really good. I've
seen stand-in artists that have been a lot more jarring in almost every other run than Moon Knight. I think we've been extremely lucky with all of our stand-ins, even though Jed goes back to the same ones, which is good. So hopefully, gives us a bit of time to get used to them as well.
Yeah, and absolutely. Oh, sorry, Rebecca, I did forget. And one of your favorite bits of issue 7 was reunion.
I was gonna.
Yeah.
Trust me, you would have been pulled up on it as a unromantic. If you didn't mention that, I was just waiting to see if the trap that was laid.
But no, I did like it, and you mentioned it again, obviously in your recap. I loved how kind of he unmasked himself, just so everyone knows that we're not dealing with another kind of hoax. It is Mark, and so it's just comforting. It was really comforting to know that wow, he's back. And I mean, we knew this, of course, as well in Fist of KHONSHU, or it was spoiled in Blood Hunt.
But we guessed it was
yeah,
going to happen. I mean, like
yeah,
at the minute we know that if KHONSHU's released, he'll be able to resurrect again. So I mean, like I think we were fairly sure it was going to happen, but
yeah,
it doesn't mean it's not. I think it was done really nicely that you still were excited for it.
yeah. No, absolutely. I think it didn't take anything like away, like in the moment when you're kind of reading issue 7, it didn't take anything away from it because, like, yeah, it was just really nice. And issue 8, Reis and Soldier, I think they were really good. It was good to kind of get their kind of perspective, and we got a bit of the vampire battles and stuff. But what was the big highlight there? There was a 8-ball at the end was pretty funny.
8-ball and Mark was very sweet as well.
Yeah,
I mean, you know,
he was sweating bullets, going like,
he
oh,
was worried about what was going to happen. Yeah. And you know, Dr. Sturman giving Soldier and Risa blood was
that was a bit weird.
sensible though, right? She's
Sensible.
still established as the pragmatic one amongst the team.
Oh yeah, she is. And I really enjoyed how Mark said, you know, although we don't have to have these sessions, you know, it was never about the Avengers long ago, and I'll, you know, happy to continue them. So that's good to know because we're going to get that sort of narrative, hopefully, in you know, future runs as well. But yeah, really, really good. I mean, nothing I can't say that you've already covered, Rebecca, because again, very thorough. And again, go check it out, Loonies, if you haven't already.
Yeah,
but
apologies that it was a solo, but we didn't want to keep people waiting too long, you know. So
yeah, no, I think it was perfectly done, and can't wait to go into like another, shall I say, phase, Rebecca.
Sure. You absolutely should.
I just, it's kind of made for it. But I'll hold the reins there just for a second. Any white noise, Rebecca? I don't know. I haven't been checking myself. I've been catching up with comics. But
there's a stupid rumor about Marvel wanting Moon Knight or Daredevil to meet Moon Knight in live action. But I mean, it's one of these, you know, like we get these rumors all the time in the same way as, you know, like, so it's not come from anywhere respectable, anywhere that's likely to have an inside, you know.
Is that the same sort?
More wishful thinking. I think now we have Daredevil Born Again on the horizon.
Mm-hmm. And is there any is that from the same source that, you know, there have been speculations about Moon Knight in Secret Wars? Again, is that just a wishful thinking thing?
I'm fairly certain that's just wishful thinking. I mean, look, I mean, based on how Marvel do things, based on the stories of Secret Wars, like whichever version of Secret Wars you take, it's a good call, right? I mean, that's I think what these rumor accounts do is they make educated guesses and then pretend they were right and they have this inside thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, I mean, we could all make similar inside guesses, and I would say we have as much chance of being right.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So, you know, like, we can see it happening, right? Could absolutely see Moon Knight in Secret Wars. We could see him meeting up with Black Knight. We could see him any of the street level characters. Currently, that's Daredevil's got the big up and comer. We'll just see. I mean, you will either get firm news about it or we won't. So
true. I mean, what's your take then? Your opinion on Oscar Isaac returning? I mean, I know. You know, you can ask any actor to come back if you have a big enough bag of cash, but I don't know. What do you think? I tend to think that he's happy to kind of keep Moon Knight separate.
He seems to like it. He seems to like it. I guess. I mean, we know he only had the contract for the first one, which is, I think, important to remember. But I do think he liked the character. But I think that might mean that if they suggest something stupid for it. I mean, he's coming back for What If, right? So that's actually apparent. I don't know if that was a rumor account, but that seems extremely likely because voice acting, he can do it from home if he needs to. I would hope that if it was a terrible new version of the character, he would say no. I think when you have someone like Oscar Isaac and you're going to have to fit in with other scheduling, Hopefully that means they keep the quality high. And I know some people didn't like it.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, fingers crossed. I'd still love to see more from him, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see more from like beyond what if in the animated kind of world. I mean, as well, I really am enjoying the Marvel animated stuff, and
I mean, I don't really like. I'm not a massive fan of What If, but I've liked the odd episode. So
yeah, I haven't finished season 2, but what I've seen so far, like I've really enjoyed it. It's something that's kind of like more of a, I think, a curiosity for me, Rebecca. It's
that's fair.
Yeah, when you're in it, like there was one with the is it the Grandmaster and Iron Man, like him going.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah,
and
that
I
was
like
the really cool.
I like the medieval one, the 1603.
You see, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, I like that one. I liked so season 1 didn't have any Iron Man in, so like you can already see where my bias is coming. And I thought they were. I don't. It's really hard to phrase this, but I don't dislike Captain Carter per se. I just think they did an extremely lazy origin for her. As in, they literally gave her exactly the same Steve thing. But then instead of letting her be this superhero on her own, they had Steve as the Hydra Stomper. And I'm like, well, if she's Captain America level, she doesn't need that. And it just everything about it kept like annoying me. And then just the fact that they shoved her in everything after that, as if she was the most popular character. And I was like, I don't like her. You kept killing Tony. Season 1 did not win me over. Season 2 I like more. But you know,
I would agree. Because I didn't like from What If the first season was how they connected everything. Like I thought that was completely unnecessary.
It was really unnecessary.
Yeah, like the What Ifs are all about like one and dones, like one.
Yeah, I want them to go wilder with it, like the current ones they're doing in the comics, which are hilarious. Like, what if Donald Duck picked up Thor's hammer? I mean, it's genuinely funny, right? When Disney owns both, it's like, and the next one is, what if Minnie was Captain Marvel? Like, I'm not saying that I'm going to buy and read them, but at least that gives me a giggle of like, you know, that's. But some of the old What Ifs, like, you know, what if Tony Stark was Sorcerer Supreme? You know, like
what if the Punisher became Venom? Like that sort of stuff. It was really I
mean, I think you could see like what if Captain America joined Hydra? You can see that in Secret Empire, but like you know, like what you really want them to be is where there's one change and that affects everything. Like, you don't want there to be one change, which is, oh, Peggy takes the serum and then the exact same story plays out. Because it just feels lazy.
That's right. So, you're absolutely right. I mean, but
I think they did do better in season 2, and hopefully we get Moon Knight. So I know that there are people concerned that they might do what if Moon Knight didn't have DID? What if Moon Knight, you know, like.
Okay. I hadn't even considered what they'd do, but
I've seen some conversation about it, whether it was on the page or on Discord or on Twitter generally. I think it may have been on Twitter generally. I just don't see them doing that. I literally don't see that. I think they could do something funny, like what if he was American, like, which of course the American, like he is, like, within the context of. I don't know what if he was resurrected by a Roman god, you know, like I think we're talking more that than changing, because that would be controversial, right? If you either made him like, what if he was Muslim, what if he was, and I say that because of what if he was Christian might not change that much. What if he was Muslim? What if he was didn't have DID? Don't see them going there. I think they might go for the other gods. Would be quite interesting.
Well, what if Ethan Hawke? What was his character again? Arthur Harrow or something? What if he became Moon Knight?
Yeah. I mean, what if Layla became Moon Knight?
Yeah.
You know, like they've got some interesting ones there. So I you know, I mean, look. They've done some terrible things before. If it happens, we will absolutely slag them off.
Absolutely.
So
purely,
you know,
objective.
like we will write in complaints. I wrote in a complaint to Marvel about something, and I don't even remember what now. But I wrote a complaint the other week.
Good.
What did I last hate about Marvel? Who knows? I wrote in a complaint, man.
Yeah, no, the digital stuff. Would it be that?
No, it wasn't. It was
No,
something
was it?
way
No.
stupider than that. Yeah.
Okay. Because I think that's stupid. I mean, just
It is stupid.
that kind of.
Oh,
for those
I
that-
know what it was about. I know what it was about.
Yeah.
It was about Iron Fist's anniversary issue.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's well found. I mean, well justified as well. Oh, we've got. Oh, I forgot to mention, listeners, podcast listeners, you are listening to a live stream. I mean, not in real time. Rebecca and I are live streaming now, so people can tune in and say hello. We've got someone here, Wayne. Wayne, I'm all in on Howard the Duck Moon Knight. Yeah.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Wayne
I mean, like that would be like
Wayne
such a
loves
thing
Howard
for
the
our particular podcast, right? Because we have the,
Yeah, exactly.
like, yeah, because we have the Howard fans.
Yeah.
That would be very funny.
Got the Pet Avengers and Howard the Duck, like Moon Knight as well. That'll be good. No, thank you, Wayne. Always good to hear from you. I know Wayne's a big fan of. I think you like all of them, right? But Chip Zdarsky one was pretty funny.
That was great.
Yes. So yeah, Rebecca. Sorry, I lost the train of thought there. You wrote an angry letter.
I didn't write an angry letter. I wrote a letter expressing that I did not think that was a suitable thing to do in a 50th anniversary.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I was really put off by that, and yeah, I wanted to explain for listeners who don't know. I mean,
well, we can explain very quickly for people who don't know. The Iron Fist had its 50th anniversary this year.
Mm-hmm.
They just did an anniversary issue. Got a lot of the creators who've written Iron Fist before. Great series of things. And in the final story, killed Danny.
Yes, and further to that, the whole last page
and had a QR code where you scanned and got this hint that he's coming back, but maybe as a bad guy.
This reeks of Scarlet Spider and Chasm all over, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Like, for anyone that wants to hear my views on Scarlet Spider, because I like the character as well, and he's been done dirty. It's exactly the same, but to a bigger character, dare I say, in Iron Fist. So
I mean, look, I and many Iron Fist fans are totally up for changing of the guard.
But yes.
But I just don't feel this is the way to celebrate a 50th anniversary. And I really hate the reveal being behind a QR code that's not the end for Danny. And I think that was what I was writing about, is like the QR code. So you weren't wrong. That the QR code wrong is not the way to do that. In between, the other stories were great. I mean, I'm still mad at Marvel they didn't do a Luke Cage 50th when they did a Howard the Duck one. I think that's pretty disrespectful. Howard the Duck did deserve one, but I think Luke Cage also deserved one. So we will see.
Yeah, definitely. So Rebecca and I, we aren't all sunshine and roses.
No, if they do anything mean to Mark, we'll be up there,
Exactly. And speaking of which, Rebecca, we do have, I haven't even mentioned what we're doing, a moonshine. Let me find out. Where's this banner gone? We're doing a moonshine, people. And of course, we'll be doing have I got that right? It's Phases of the Moon Knight, or just Phase of the Moon Knight? Phases of the Moon Knight, Volume 1, Issue 1. And I've got a little funky little roller here. There we go. So it's an anthology of sorts. It's 2 stories. We'll go through it. How about, shall we just hop in now, Rebecca? Shall we do that?
Yes, but I don't think we talked about issue 8 with you, so we'll do that afterwards.
No.
We'll do that
okay,
afterwards.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
okay.
All right,
let's do this moonshine. Yes, so we are looking at, I'm going to pull this up as well. We are looking at Phases of the Moon Knight, issue 1. A great cover here, Rebecca, of the 2 different Moon Knights on offer. And I've only just noticed, because all the phases of the moon in the background.
Yeah.
And it's got some sort of longitude, latitudinal readings or something I can see there, or compass. Compasses, at the top, and then you got huge KHONSHU at the back as well, and the Crusader standing on his head.
So, yeah, that's quite funny.
But the art is fantastic, I've got to say. And let me just see if I can find the credits here. I'm going to start with the art, the cover art. Andre Brisson and Ceci de la Cruz. Then you have Derek Chu and Rod Reis with the design. And Stephanie Hans. These are the variant cover arts. Oh, sorry. And what we just saw, for those that are looking at the video and have the comic, Matthias Manhanini. Fantastic.
Oh yeah,
Matthias.
I really like.
Sorry, I've stopped that up. Sorry, Manhanini. Yeah, very, very good. Very good. So yeah, as I mentioned, Rebecca and everyone, an anthology, 2 stories. This actually surprised me, Rebecca. They were 2 kind of full stories. Like, it didn't seem like they were just 2 short stories.
I think what surprised me was that one of them is very closely tied into what's going on in the main run, and feels like maybe we should have got it in the main run as a backup.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I think it's fair that we're all buying all these things, and you know, if you weren't buying this in singles, you'd probably buy it in trade if you're a big Moon Knight fan. But yeah, I think I was expecting it to be more like Moon Knight, Black, Red, and Black, White, and Blood.
Yeah.
Like, where they were all very standalone. And this time, I mean, I think maybe the rest of them will be very standalone. I think this first story, The Once and Future Knight, is important enough that I would have liked to see it in the main run. But I do like it.
Yeah, we'll get into both of them as well. Yeah, I'm very interested to hear your thoughts on both, Rebecca. The first one, Once and Future Knight, friend of the show, Erica Schultz is a writer, Manuel Garcia is penciler, Sean Parsons the inker, and Ceci de la Cruz is the color artist. Very cool. I was very impressed with the art. I thought that was really good.
I loved it.
And we've got another friend of the show. Crusader is the second story. Benjamin Percy on writing duties, and Rod Reis, one of the very first creators, Rebecca, that contributed to RTK early on. So very, very happy to see Rod Reis is still in the mix with Moon Knight.
It does a really great job.
Does a fantastic job. VC's Cory Petit as letterer, and we have Devin Lewis, of course, taking the reins as the editor for Moon Knight. Now, Rebecca, I guess, I don't know, how should we do this? Should we just go through the first one quickly?
Yeah.
What, in a nutshell, kind of, what would you?
So, in a nutshell, this explains how the Shroud became Moon Knight while Mark was dead. And it's quite a touching little story. Like, you know, he's gone to speak to Mark for help about redemption. Mark doesn't answer the door, but not because he's rude. He says, I'm sure somebody else will answer it. But in that time, Max Coleridge changes his mind, walks off, decides to prove his worth by taking on the Moon Knight mantle, and takes it out on some of his old night shift buddies. And then by the end, you can see how he's going a bit too far in the exacting of justice, as in being a little bit preemptive justice or judgy justice. And that's where we kind of pick up on the why he wasn't a good Moon Knight replacement.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, and what did you make of this? Like, first impressions for this story?
I thought it was interesting and very much. I mean, first of all, I was very glad that Erica got to write it.
Yeah, I like Erica.
I think she's a great writer for Moon Knight. Like I've already said, I think this was an important story for the continuity that wouldn't have fit in with the deadlines Jed had to fit in Blood Hunt, I think. So, like, that's why we got maybe some of this condensed. I like that it hints to me that Erica is our second go-to Moon Knight writer by doing a sort of current continuity story. I mean, is it weird that Mark didn't answer the door? No, somebody else should have answered it. Is it weird that Max turned around so quickly? No, we've all written emails and wanted to delete them straight away. I mean, we've all I thought it was very good. I liked some of the paneling. I liked how much story got into it. I think, as you were saying before, and it's always called see Night Shift, right? In this run, they're very thematically present through this run as well. So it all just seemed to fit really well.
Yeah, I mean, Night Shift, Tatterdemalion. To me, Tatterdemalion and I think the Digger are very synonymous with
it's
Night
just
Shift.
crazy.
Yeah. I share a lot of your views there, Rebecca. I thought, and look, I love Erica's work. I think this is very solid as a story as it goes. I felt it. I don't know. I was just wanting it to dig a little bit deeper into why Max and like why he turned, like why he decided to like become Moon Knight, and then how it kind of escalated.
I mean, why he decided to be Moon Knight is the interesting one, but like I don't know if they can explain it. Like,
because it was only really kind of touched upon where, let me see if I can get the. Oh, I can't get the. Come on, where it's kind of like he turns away from the Midnight Mission, and just goes, "Oh, okay, well, I'm gonna show him how good I can be, or whatever." And that was kind of, unless I'm mistaken, that was the reason. I'm just trying to find it here.
Yeah, I think it is. He's proving himself to Moon Knight. Yeah,
it's a huge turn. I mean, like I wanted to learn. Yeah, I wanted to learn more about that. You know why, like, and then how it evolved into him, like emulating Moon Knight, like because you could come up with ideas of like, I'm going to show him how good I'm worth, and like I'm actually a good person and all that. But then why take up the look of Moon Knight? And
I guess the missing bit is that Moon Knight is dead at that time, or like dies between that first interaction or non-interaction second.
Yeah, and then he must have come to this epiphany of, okay, maybe I take his identity.
Maybe I should. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm guessing that's the elision.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That is a very good Rebecca. I glossed over it in the hope that I wouldn't look dumb, but not knowing it. But no, but you know, exactly. That would be it. Like, you know, a panel or whatever, just to tie it in, going, okay, because it bounces from past to present, and it could be another time slot where it's like, you know, just after Mark is gone, and then you see, or had that been explained in the previous Moon Knight issues? I can't remember.
I don't remember. I don't think explicitly. It was just
okay.
Maybe it was.
Yeah, now I'm thinking maybe it was, but I can't remember. But I just felt
someone
that was
will tell us.
Yeah, please. But I just felt that was missing here. But I really did love the face off between Night Shift and, you know, Waxman. We know all about Waxman, and just escalation. I got really good vibes of you know, the Mike Benson run and Vengeance of the Moon Knight, the original one, with this whole kind of thing about Moon Knight in the media. Oh, this guy's gone crazy. Like, he's a terror. He's terrorizing everyone. It really brought back that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And I kind of enjoyed it in that sense. The artwork I loved. Again, it harkened back for me.
The only bit I didn't like of it, and this feels very picky, is I guess some of the art of our main crew. Like, I thought Dr. Sturman looked a bit strange.
Okay, let me have a look.
I thought Reis's hair looked strange.
Okay, let me see. Yeah. I mean,
I guess it's because we're so used to seeing them in the other. But overall, like, the backgrounds are great. You know what? You can really tell it's different colorists, right?
Yes. Oh no, for sure. And that's taking nothing away from this colorist, but
no, not at all. It's just.
But it speaks volumes of Rochelle.
Such a difference. But it's also. But it's sometimes nice to have a big difference. And like sometimes we've had like every time we've had the new artist on the main run, Rochelle still colored them. So like this is it's nice to just have a total break. And that wasn't a criticism about the different colors. You can really tell, because I think some of the color work's still really good. It's just very different.
Yeah, it is. Very consistent, very solid, but very different. It doesn't have that, you know, should I say, like the flair that Rochelle Rosenberg.
But I mean, like, anyone who can really do a good Waxman is doing good art, you know. So
I love that Waxman's just There was some really cool, like, hats
really
off to
nice
Eric.
Backgrounds as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the background. we do talk about, don't we, Rebecca, the backgrounds. They do make or
Yes.
break sometimes,
They can
artworks.
really, yeah, because
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
about, building out the world.
Exactly. And like if you have too many panels without backgrounds,
Hmm
you venture into, this could look like a rush job, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But this is fantastic. Yeah, as you're saying, Waxman, I wanted to call out Erica's great, like her descriptions of the fight scenes. Like I loved how this
Yeah.
Shroud Moon Knight he's got that little flamethrower in his gauntlet, and he sets
Yeah.
fire to
I love that.
Tatterdemalian's
Yeah.
Tatterdemalian's hands, and then that burns Waxman. So yeah, he's very is very, very crafty, I think.
Yeah.
From there it is. He releases Tatterdemalian. All I remember, Rebecca, is apparently the villain Tatterdemalian is very smelly from the Marvel handbook.
Really? I don't remember. Yeah, that's very funny.
Like it's like he's very stinky and bo. So you just imagine having to cop it with he's right up and close and personal. But yeah, he gets fired literally by Moon Knight. Waxman's melting, and Digger takes a long walk off a short, a short plank or whatever you call it. But beautifully drawn. Like there's enough detail there for everything. I'm just saying, I do see a comment. What have we got here? Oh, Wayne coming in. Each phase of the moon, on the cover is a Marvel. Oh, is a Marvel QR code to unlock a new Moon Knight personality.
He's very funny. He's joking. Read the whole thing. Read the whole thing.
Which you can then use as a code for their mobile game. Okay, fair enough. Which will then give you a 10% discount on Marvel. Oh, very nice. Only to unveil that Danny Rand is the new Moon Knight, now known as Moon Fist, written by Bendis, art by Liefeld. Wayne, have you got a key into my dreams? Because that just sounds like too good to be true.
Moon Fist would be very funny. I mean, it's the fist of KHONSHU. Like, that's not. We could use Moon Fist. So
yeah, exactly. And Bendis and Liefeld, sign me up.
I mean,
please.
They would be our dream.
They would be a dream. Just endless monologues and no feet.
And lots of pouches.
Lots of pouches. I don't know, Rebecca, anything else? Oh, actually, it's a little bit on the Shroud's history as well. It reminded me of, dare I say, that one reference Batman.
I mean, that was, my parents dying in front of me. Very funny. I mean, not funny.
Yeah.
But then it moves on to training at the cult of Kali and stuff. So.
I like that, actually, because we know that is very much the Shroud.
That was beautiful art as well.
Yeah, awesome.
That page is gorgeous. And it's like a few different styles. And that's what I mean about the colouring. Each of those panels has different colouring. And really nice.
Yeah, and great panel layout as well. Like it just, I can imagine that. It's really, really well telling the story well. And you get a very heroic Shroud at the back there, like with Night Shift. And I love the character in the sense that, he was very different from other characters. Like he went undercover. It mentions there he was fighting crime from within. And for me, that was very unique about the Shroud. And it was a little disappointing because he's pretty cool that he became kind of bad. But hopefully he'll turn that corner. We never know. Anything else, Rebecca, here that you want to mention? There was a nice little thing.
I think we've done a good job of it.
Yeah, there was a nice little end thing here with this total kind of random guy just coming out the door and meeting Digger, who's kind of amazingly still, conscious.
Still alive.
Yeah. But for me, again, the last bit here, this was really it. This kind of sold me as, okay, now we've hit the point where the Shroud and Moon Knight has built this reputation now. He's come, the fake Moon Knight has built this reputation. And I just got visions of, 2000s and early 2000s Moon Knight. So that was really, that was really good. Cool. Yeah. One thing, though, the Shroud is blind, right? I'm correct in that.
I don't know.
I think he is. I tend, because and if there's a little quibble, it tends to look like he's not blind in the way he's been depicted.
Okay, let's have a quick look.
He's like Daredevil. He he has extra senses. I don't know radar senses, but he's for all intents
Oh
blind.
yeah, he was blinded by the cult of Carly.
Yeah. So I don't know. It just, I mean, you know, I don't want to say how you should depict someone who's blind, but yeah, it just a little bit misleading potentially. But yeah, anyway, that was the once and future Moon Knight. Now, Rebecca, before we get into the Crusader, I'm just trying to think. So, Vengeance of the Moon Knight. Oh yeah, okay. Can we talk about Vengeance of the Moon Knight just a little now?
Yeah, let's do Vengeance Moon Knight 8 now.
Okay, I just wanted to say with that, yeah, because I was wondering, what has happened to the Shroud? Like, because it was he was on the front cover of 8, and so
do you think that's the Moon Knight he has to kill?
Yes, well, that was the thing. The question at the end. So
I thought about it afterwards as I was reading this. I was like, I wonder if that's it.
Yeah, so it was a pretty powerful ending. Like, it was Khonshu saying, "Okay, I want you to kill Moon Knight," and you're thinking, "What?" But they're talking about the fake. Well, I can't remember what the words were exactly, but the fake knight. And since the cover showed the Shroud, I'm assuming it's Mark's gonna have to. I reckon he doesn't want to kill Max because they've got a history, but that's.
I don't think he wants to kill any West Coast Avengers generally.
No, exactly. So that's going to be quite the conflict that Mark will have, and that being built up with. I love that little interaction, and again, you mentioned it in your review, Rebecca, of Khonshu reproaching Mark, kind of like, Khonshu, like, you're not going to call me, whatever.
Yeah.
And Moon Knight's just off. Yeah.
You call me Dad, you mate.
Yeah, and he goes, thank you. And he's kind of reminding him, I did bring you back again. So he's got a huge debt, so to speak, to pay to Khonshu. So, if he's asked to kill Max,
it's interesting though, like, because does he have a debt? Did he ask Khonshu to resurrect him?
True.
I mean, or I'm just flagging that up. He didn't.
Yeah.
But obviously he's glad to be alive, so he does have a debt. So
Yeah. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, he didn't. He didn't. If anything,
I just always find it interesting, like the idea of a debt, and I feel it has to be something that you asked for, but also, I'm not gonna. That's a quibble.
Now, hang on. Actually, Rebecca, Khonshu is in their debt anyway. That he got freed, right? So he, so even Stephen, if you ask me,
but also the other thing I'm interested to know is, will Hunter's Moon now be fixed, right? Because he was
that kind of dropped off a little, didn't it? But that was the thing towards the end of the series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I don't know.
I would like to think so, but I wonder if
you're right. I mean, Khonshu should be able to kind of. I mean, he's been so loyal to Hunter's Moon. You'd have to think that Khonshu would kind of quickly iron out those kinks. So, sorry, Wayne. Wasn't the Shroud basically a Spider-Man stalker? Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah,
he was. I just remember him more from the West Coast Avengers, like Rebecca mentioned in the 80s. They wanted to recruit him, is that right? But they didn't. And also in Spider-Woman, he appeared in Spider-Woman.
I was in Spider-Woman.
Right. Yeah, they actually have a like a brief. I don't know if they had a thing. I think Jess just fancied him. I think there was a.
I mean, she's had a thing with a lot of. She's like the Daredevil of.
Yeah, she is. She's Matt Murdock and Jess. But no, they had a there was a little fun 2-parter in the original series. Yeah,
nice.
Yes. So issue 8, Rebecca. Yeah, that was a big thing for me. The ending and. 8 Ball, I think I mentioned as well.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah, what else? Like, what I'm trying to think. What else big happened in there? Like, they all got split up, right? Khonshu said, "You do this, you do this, you do this." Tigra and Mark were separated again.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just Reis and Soldier doing their thing, and
Yeah.
the daylight thing with the vampires.
Oh yeah, that
was,
was cool. That was cool, wasn't it? I mean, I was
Yeah.
interested in that.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And
Yeah.
again, the artwork was great with some splashes. So yeah, interesting. Yeah, my take is obviously would be the shroud. They're gonna go get the shroud. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I didn't really
Yeah.
think about it, and then I thought about it. Because it seems very harsh to kill him, but okay.
I know. But I mean, KHONSHU, he's a strict dad, you know.
I mean,
Someone
he
out there
is.
parading as a
He is a strict dad.
And it's kind of like someone going, "Look, I'm the son of this guy." It's like, no, I'm not. He's not. He's definitely not. But it's a bit funny though, because the actions of the Shroud, you'd think KHONSHU would be happy with, right? I mean, he's all about vengeance, so
yeah.
He kind of wants more of that from Mark. So you'd think that he would be kind of happy with Max. But anyway, we'll see how we go. Let us turn our attentions to Rebecca, the next part, which is there's no real big splash, but 1200 in England, Crusader. Now this is
Evil
a
Crusaders.
Knight, called Cassian.
Doesn't
you basically get like
English,
and you basically get a rundown of his history and his origin into becoming a Moon Knight. And what I really love about this is the connection to the rest of the Marvel universe with Ensabanur, which you see.
Yeah, that's really interesting to me because he kills him, right? Eventually.
Yeah, which is a bit strange because he can't, right? I mean, he's essentially immortal, Apocalypse. So I don't know what happened there. Do you know, Rebecca, or
what?
I mean, like Apocalypse can't die, so I don't know how he got his head.
Yeah, so I'm not getting involved in that, but that seems like I just think it's a good story. I think it works as a story in and of itself, and if you try and tie it up to other Marvel things, you're kind of in for. I mean, somebody might know, but maybe he goes into hiding for a bit and comes back. Who knows? But I really enjoyed it. Just I love that play on Moon Knight having an actual knight.
I love the helmet, the face,
recognizing that the Crusaders were just about keeping power for the rich. Amid this sort of holy crusade, which is interesting because here we have. It would have been like very Christian, but he doesn't seem to be. He just seems to be more like he drifted into this. He realizes that he's fighting somebody else's war. He rejects KHONSHU, which is
which is really,
we love that, right?
Really cool. I love
a bit of KHONSHU rejection. You have an amazing little page of his story, which basically tells the story we're about to hear as well, right? Because
exactly.
He says no, and then we hear him say, we see the head of so he realizes that Ensabanur is treating people badly, the people of Egypt.
Yep. It's quite gruesome as well. Rebecca.
It is quite gruesome. Yeah. He accepts KHONSHU when he finds out he can't kill him on his own. We have another terrible Deadpool advert page. Can't stand them. So he becomes Moon Knight. He kills him. But then as people start to worship him and KHONSHU, he starts to reconsider if once again he is in this thing of just maintaining a power structure.
Yeah, I like it. I like it because Cassian is like a thinker, right? He really does question, his role in the scheme of things, and he's not just, a soldier, so to speak, in the sense that he just follows it. And he just wonders about what he's doing, his own actions, and I like that self-reflection in him. For someone that is so kind of, for want of a better word, bloodthirsty, like as a killer, like as a knight, as a like a mercenary, is very aware of stuff and what his values are, and that to me makes him quite interesting. I absolutely love the artwork from Rod Reis. I think he just
I mean, like,
blows it out of the park.
I think his artwork is amazing.
Oh, it's
So
just it's hard to explain if for podcast listeners if you haven't
it's
seen his
very
stuff.
different from
Oh,
almost any other artist. You can tell immediately it's him, and it is just beautiful.
There's a bit of God, what am I? I'm losing a note. There's a bit of Phil Noto, in his artwork, but even then, like it's not like he's just copying Phil's stuff. He's got his definite style, and it's just so beautiful. And again, exceptional colors, I think, as well.
Beautiful.
We get with the blood red, with all this death and destruction. His whole kind of all his comrades, kind of impaled actually, with an A on there. But then if I go back to in the temple, but in the sandstorm here, when he first kind of sees a little bit of KHONSHU,
it's gorgeous. That one of those middle ones where it almost looks like fireworks. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, just the splatter, like just all these effects that Rod Reis puts in, and then inside with the cold kind of blue filter, and you can kind of almost feel the cold stone in the temple and the light. Just really, really evocative, and this kind of hieroglyphic kind of page is phenomenal. So, really, I love the art. The story I thought was really interesting as well, and I love
it's something a bit different. I mean, you can tell the elevator pitch is what if we made him a knight, and then it moves from there, and I kind of love that. So, I think it's really good.
Yeah. And the little scarab beetle he has is kind of like the genie in the bottle. It's like if ever you need just to say the word and you'll be turning into Moon Knight. So he obviously tries to beat.
It's like a little he's like his little pager. So you just page me.
Exactly. It's that kind of trope, isn't it, Rebecca? Of like, here's my phone at any time. Just call me and I'll be there in a flash.
I really want you to be my Moon Knight. I'm like struggling to find anyone.
But what I thought was full on kick ass was that once he does convert to Moon Knight as well, he goes toe to toe against Apocalypse. And
it's amazing.
That is no slight thing. So again, Rebecca, maybe my brain just immediately went into deflection mode of okay, maybe this is just not the continuity. Maybe this is another Apocalypse, because it did throw me a bit, but it doesn't take away from the ending. Beautiful heroic stance at the end. Just love it. The mask is, as you said, Rebecca, so similar to, I guess, like the helmets and stuff of Templars, and really good.
I
and
really
then them
like
just
it.
And then them worshipping him, and him just going, oh God, have I Cassian could not help but wonder if he had become the very thing he hated.
Love.
Yeah, and that's a curse, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's like he's cursed. So yeah, brilliant stuff. I don't know, Rebecca, unless there's anything else you'd like to add to this, do you want to give it a rate?
I think I'll give this one I think it's solid 8, actually.
This issue.
Yeah.
I
forgot we had to rate things, but yeah.
I'd be hard pressed not to follow suit, Rebecca. I think the artwork for me, I mean, not that the stories were bad or anything, but I think the artwork really has elevated the experience of this comic. So yeah, it goes up, a couple points for that.
I just love, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the series. I wasn't sure what we were going to get, so
yeah, me too. And I've got to say as well, because this comes in at 33 pages. This is on this digital copy that I've got. So that is why it felt that's a good 16, 17 pages. That's a decent story, right? We're not talking 10 pages here. So I felt, I don't want to say like bang for buck. Like I felt like, wow, this really did.
Yeah, no,
it felt satisfying.
It was good. It was they felt like complete stories, like you said. I mean, I think that was the important thing.
Yeah, I mean, if we are to compare it to something, if I'm to go back to, was it Fist of KHONSHU, Rebecca? I think Zero. That was like, I mean, for any experienced, seasoned Moon Knight fan, that probably would have left you feeling a little flat because it was just basically a summary of Moon Knight. So that really I didn't leave feeling any sense of fulfillment, but this one was really good. Really loved it, art wise, everywhere. So I'd give it an 8 as well. So Looney listeners, pretty good. Oh, sorry, we've got a couple. Sorry, Wayne. Sorry, I missed you here. After Vengeance of the Moon Knight, I'd love a decent 8-ball series. Oh, would be good to delve.
If Jed has to have a little mini series in him.
Yeah, a little mini. Or Rebecca, there was an annual that came out as well, wasn't there? Moon Knight annual.
That was last week. We're gonna cover that at some point. So
we'll do that. I was about to say though, a backup story and an annual would be probably good for 8-ball, a little 8-ball jaunt, with his rocket launching Q stick. We don't know. So listeners, go check it out. I'd highly recommend this. It's really good. Phases of the Moon Knight, and excited to see what we have next. Rebecca, just before we wrap things up, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to all the loonies that are continually posting stuff in the social media platforms and on Discord. Thank you so much for keeping the community up vibe and interesting as well. We've got something here from Mario for this particular issue. And Mario says, I'm not a huge fan of the first story's take on the Shroud. He seemed a lot less delusional and a lot more driven in Vengeance of the Moon Knight. As for the second story, what do you reckon, Rebecca?
I mean, I actually liked it because I think like delusion is something that can ebb and flow. But I mean, it's interesting. So I mean, I can see why you would think that.
Yeah, no, definitely for sure. And Mario continues, as for the second story, historical or possibly parallel universe stories have never really been my bag, but I suppose it was decent enough. It reminded me a bit of Exodus, the mutant zealot. Yes. Rebecca, I
love alternate universes though. So like I'm like the opposite of Mario in that respect. I mean, I just genuinely just thought it was beautiful and enjoyed it a lot. So I didn't have the same issue with that. But I think they are valid criticisms. Like these aren't going to be stories that are for everyone, and that's not a criticism of Mario. That's just they're not. And it's interesting.
I mean, hopefully Phases of the Moon Knight will be diverse enough
hopefully
anyway
there'll
to have
be some other stuff that
Rebecca, we might get a Jonathan Hickman space outing with Moon Knight in the year 5000.
A few more Moon Knight werewolves would be appreciated.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
Moon Knight werewolves. Also, bit more of Tigra, Moon Knight, maybe. Side story.
Why not?
Or actually,
a date. Why not? Let's do it. Another date. We've had one date. Another one.
It's another one. Yeah.
You can have as many dates as you want.
Yeah, but without taking too much away from obviously the cast that Jed has introduced, maybe Marlene. We have seen Marlene and Frenchie in one of the annuals, right? It was that Werewolf by Night, Moon Knight kind of annual. We could see more of the old crew as well. That'll be good.
I mean, look, always up for seeing more of the old crew, but I just don't know if we're going to.
No, and more God stuff. I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So So there you go, listeners. Go check it out. It is definitely worth it. Rebecca, Spectacle. Before I forget, any shout outs you want to make with where listeners or viewers can find you?
Mostly on Twitter or Blue Sky as Arbitrary Genius. And we've just done our final DCAU podcast of the year for Watchmen Part 1, Volume 1,
cool.
Episode 1, whatever it's called.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that. Is that about a week out from release or something then, Rebecca?
A week or two. It'll be within the next couple of weeks,
Yeah. Cool. We'll go check it out as well. Rebecca on social media is very good. And on the Discord in Into the Night as well. You can catch her there. Yeah, you're a lot more frequent in there than I am, Rebecca. I should get more into that myself.
I try.
Yeah.
I try and pop in every couple of days in case I missed anything, but especially around comics release.
Yes, yeah. You can catch me. Look, I'm so happy to be back at ITK and to chat with you, Rebecca, as well. It's just, just very, I don't know.
It's just nice. It feels
comfortable
normal again, right?
That's
There's another issue this week as well. So.
Oh, okay. Just when we think we're on top of things,
or next week there's another one, but we've got the annual as well. So
yeah, we'll cover that. I can't wait. Where did we? I love our little tangents. Where did we go today? We went off to talk. Oh yeah, about what if.
What if? Yeah.
So,
this is why when we do a solo episode, they're so short.
But awesome stuff. I'll be around the traps. I'll have a Predator and hello. For those that don't know,
his new friend doesn't want to play with him. So
I'm going to keep that cryptic. So for the podcast listeners, they have no idea what's going on. Check out the video. There's a link to the video.
It's all about Mark.
It's all about. But yeah, was this? Oh yeah, I'll be on Predator and Prey. We recorded with the whole crew the latest Predator episode where we talk about Predator versus Black Panther. So that is
that's
interesting. Oh, I've got to say, sans Justin, of course. Sorry, Justin wasn't able to make it, but the other two, Russell and Sparky, were all there. We were guns a-blazing. That's a lot of fun. Check that out. Coming out soon. I'll be on Capes and Lunatics International at the end of every month. At the beginning of the month. So yeah, so you got a while to go. But yeah, just happy to be back on ITK, and yeah, thank you so much for listening, everybody. And Rebecca, thank you.
Thank you. It's nice to speak to you.
Yeah, you too.
Have a good week, and we'll try and do it again soon.
Oh, absolutely. We've got some issues to get through. Thanks, listeners. And as always, may KHONSHU watch over the denizens of the night. Catch you later.
Bye.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information, or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.